Hey. In this video, I want to go over the last two trades on Friday we took. One was almost 2500% gains, and other was also 150% gains. And this is where the power of SPX comes into play. And before I discuss the trade itself, I want to talk about that Friday was OPEX close, of course, and option expiration closes usually when gamma we are market makers are net gamma positive. The price is usually pinned to one level and the volatility is low, but if the net gamma flips to the negative side, then you can see volatility explode. And I talk about this in depth in my podcast, but let's look at VIX, for example. So now you can see that we had VIX on 12th of May. It was declining, right? Sharp sell-off on VIX. And then we had a Drippy day on Wednesday, and then Thursday it sold off. And then on, so around this time on Friday, look at this. Right around open, you see VIX just rising, like it's just going to break the 33 level, seemed like it, right? But I think that the market makers were pinned to the 4,000 level, or I think that the 4,000 level strike had the highest open interest and the volume. And since those contracts were expiring, I think that the net gamma was negative, and that's why we saw this sudden rise on VIX the other day when the 4,000 level broke. And when that happens, you can see sharp movements in the market. So going into the close, I had thought that, okay, well, VIX can cool off if market makers, if 4,000 is the level for the gamma, market makers might not need to, they need to cover their hedges into the close and unwind those hedges. And that's what my thought process was. And around 1 o'clock, we start to see this. So just without this knowledge, also just looking at technical analysis, you could have taken trades. And here's what I want to show you guys. So let's look at the daily chart for SPY. We have this anchored VWAP from COVID low. So that was around this level, let's say around 379.62. It's not perfect level, every tool will show different based on the calculation. But what I was interested was in this demand zone right here. You could see that there's this bid, this wick here, untested demand zone around that. So we have confluence of two things, right? And also from all-time high for SPX and SPY, we were down almost 20%. So everyone was posting we are in bear market officially and we are going to crash and stuff like that. But I was just waiting patiently. So let's go to the 4-hour chart first of all for SPY. The 10-minute chart. So on the 10-minute chart here, you could see that we gapped down the other day, and then we had this bear flag. We broke down this. So on the day, on Friday specifically, I was very risk off. I was very cautious into what could happen, and that's why I kind of missed this downside, and I regret it after going back and looking at the charts. There was a trend to the downside, and I missed it, but it's okay. I missed my entries 2 or 3 times, and I kept thinking, there was this squeeze on the 10-minute chart which broke below. There was this perfect flag, bearish flag. But I just for some reason kept thinking that, it's OPEX end. And I think if market makers have to cover, given that theory, I had this analysis paralysis kind of thing. And I didn't want to get caught up into the short side while the market starts ripping. But the downside of that was I missed the short, but it's okay though, because that was the true test of the patience. I didn't chase, and it's okay. I missed it, but not a big deal, right? So I was still watching the price action. So let's go to the 5-minute chart, so more clarity. Now as we were going into the close, we start to see this demand zone price entering right around this area, right? 380.75. And we have a clear downtrend, right? And you see this sudden volume appear, like this sudden green candle up here. That's where exactly at 1:30 the wick starts to decline, And now my thought process is like, okay, well, if you see volume like this on a small time frame, let's go to 1 minute chart, right? You see something like this on 1 minute, you see something like this when the trend is to the downside, you have to be careful, right? Because yeah, there's chance that if this level breaks, we could see more downside. But if this level is holding, we could most definitely see lower high formation. So that's what I was expecting. So yeah, so let's go to this 1 minute chart, right? Or better yet, yeah, 1 minute chart will give you more clarity, I think. So I was watching the 2 minute chart, but yeah, so here's what happened. We saw this sudden bounce, and then after retesting this area here, the supply, it went back. So for the first trade we took, I was watching this level right here, this kind of consolidation here, and I was watching this area. So here I'll open the image for better clarity. So trade 1 was right here. So I was watching this kind of formation here, flag formation, which is one of my favorite setups to trade, and I saw this consolidation here. So as soon as the price came above this, I alerted that I'm getting 3900 call. Now 3900 was way too out of money, but I was like, okay, well, even if it goes closer to 3900, I can capitalize. And keep in mind, this was around 230. The theta decay comes into effect. So that was risk only trade. And pretty soon it broke out of. So we had this squeeze in the 1 minute time frame as well, and also we had squeeze on the 5 minute chart as well. So combining these two factors, technical analysis and all the other things, and I also saw unusual whales like puts being sold around this time on SPY, QQQ and SPX, and millions of dollars of order. So I was like, yeah, something seems fishy now. Puts are being sold rather than being bought. So maybe market makers are covering the big parties. And, I took the chance, got into this trade. So got 3900 call 0.5 and sold 2/3 at 0.9, covered my cost basis. And then the remaining I sold at 1.3, right around here. This was the previous resistance I was watching from this rejection level. So of course it got rejected. Now things get interesting, right? So let me hide this trade for you guys. So now things get interesting. Now I'm watching this trend line kind of, I joined these two. Keep in mind that we didn't really have this that time. So I was joining. I was hoping that what happens if it gets rejected here. So usually we have seen around 3 p.m. a seller comes and sells, and then it closes to the downside, right? But not this time. I start to see volume kind of start surging, and I see this consolidation here. Right around this area. And then on the 5 minute chart, again, it's the same thing. You are in the squeeze here and market's about to close. And I said that, I think market might unwind the hedges. Wicks start to decline faster and faster. So right around this time, here's the trade too. So I saw this consolidation right here, similar pattern here, and I alerted that, okay, this time I'm getting at 0.2. So notice how this was at 0.45, went to almost 1.3, then came back, became 0.2. So from these gains and adding some more capital, I got like 10 contracts for this. So risking only $200, right? And also those risk was 150 was profit, so I'm only risking $50 from my original position. So my idea was that, okay, even if it goes to 0.4, I can double the money. So now I start to see here the volume is starting to surge. The volume is starting to increase on lower time frames, and I see that, okay, well, so around this time, I sold 2/3 of this position at, it became around $1 here, something like that, around this area or this area. I don't have the timestamp on Discord, but it was around this area where I had it sold at 1. And as soon as I sold it, I believe it was this area, I think so. So from point to it reached all the way to $1, and then around this area I see it pull back, and I was like, okay, well, I've already made the cost basis and I made 5 times the returns for this trade. So now what I want to do, and I also saw this level, this 385 level, I was watching very, very carefully. I kept telling people that if we break this, we might see short cover, because this was the rejection area earlier. So we saw this break and retest of this area right here, and then it just went ballistic. We saw some volume coming in, and that gave me some confidence that, okay, if it pulls back, I'm going to add more. So I reloaded at 0.6. So at this point, it was $1, came back here, it was 0.6, and by the time, I mean, this was approaching SPX 3900. It was like SPY 389, right? So it was approaching 3900. So at this point, because of this this strong volume, led it all the way to like a $5 or something. So it was insane watching this, because at 0.6 reload and went or sold. I sold 9/10 of my position for 5, holding one into the close, thinking that we might close above, and we did close above 3900. And overall, such a beautiful breakout here, right? And into the close, if you go and look at the 5 minutes time frame, things are much more clear now, because now you can see that, okay, this kind of formation right here, right? We broke this ascending triangle formation into the close with the squeeze, volume coming in, and boom, we had this insane rally into the close. I mean, look at the SPY move from SPY move 5 points, and SPX moved SPX moved from here. So this was around the time I entered, right? What, 63 points in a matter of what, 30 minutes. So because of that, the cheap premiums became insanely, the price became insanely expensive into the close. So that's why these 0.2 became $5, leading to 2,500% gains, right? And this is the lesson I want to convey, is that sometimes you do miss out, like the trend is, because you might have some conviction and you don't want to risk, and it's okay. But if you're patient, if you have really good entry, you can find another setups. And I know a lot of people made money on the downside on the Discord and on the upside. So congratulations, and I'll catch up with you guys later.